If you just imported a Skyline and you don't know anything about the car, whenever you get a new car, you should always change all the fluids. Even though I've owned this car now for almost 5 years, it has actually been spending the better part of 2 years sitting and not really running. Change all the fluids. It's just worth the peace of mind doing that. So that's what today's video is going to be about, changing all the fluids. I'm not going to show you specifically everything that you need to do because it's boring just watching the fluid drain out. But what I will do is I will show you the various areas that you need to get into to basically change all these fluids, where the drain and fill locations are at, and all of that good stuff. So get engine oil, transmission fluid. These two in the back here are for the rear diff. That one is for the front diff. This fluid is for both the Atessa system as well as the transfer case. And then a bunch of different pumps to get the various fluids in, and something to drain all that into. Let me just show you what I got. Motul 300V, 5W40. Bit controversial. Everybody has an opinion on what kind of oil to be using and what weight to be using. Pick whatever you like, throw it in there. The factory actually calls for 7.5 W30, which is basically impossible to find. Some people say go with a 1030. Some people say go with a 540. A lot of people say you should pick an oil depending upon the climate that you live in and how hot your oil gets during runtime. Some people swear by a 1060. Others say you should do 2060. Some say 1550. Anyway, you get the point. There's a lot of different opinions out there. This is transmission fluid. It's a 7590. Well, that's in French. Obviously I don't speak French, but anyway, you can see right here it says recommended for 7590. This is a GL4. Make sure you use GL4 for your transmission. For the synchros, do not use a GL5. And this is an 8090 for the front diff. And this is a 7590 for the rear diff. Make sure that you get something that has a limited slip modifier. Right? These are both GL5, I believe. Yep, GL5. This is a replacement for Nissan Matic D. Nissan Infiniti Matic D. So this should work just fine. Alright, engine oil change time. Obviously this is your fill. Down here is like I don't know what it is, but the engineers here pretty much designed the worst location ever. So if you have a stock, if you don't have an oil filter relocation kit like my car, this is stock, you can actually see down in here, that little white bit, that is the oil filter. So you have to contort your arm all the way back up under there in order to undo that thing and get it out. When you do, it makes the most god-awful mess on the planet because it just spills right on top of the front diff and just makes a huge mess. So make sure you have a big can of brake clean, that way you can spray it all down once it's drained. Up under here, if you can see, is the front diff. This is your fill bolt. This is your fill bolt. This is your drain bolt. When you're actually doing these, make sure that you actually undo the fill bolt first and then undo the drain bolt. It would be really bad if you drained all your fluid and then could not get the fill bolt undone. These use, I'm not a big fan of these, but these actually use a 1/2 inch drive to actually break these free, so you'll need one of those. Nissan also recommends that you use just a little bit of RTV on the very end threads, just to kind of give it a good seal, that way it doesn't leak. Alright, that's the front diff. Let me show you the transmission and transfer case, because those are in the same area, and then I'll show you the rear diff. Here is the transfer case. This right here is your drain. That's your drain bolt. And then right here is the fill bolt. So those are the two that you're going to need to break free and drain. On the transmission, you can see here, transmission. Up here is the actual fill bolt, and just below it, that is the drain bolt. So the factory manual says you should try to remove this and actually give yourself some more space, but if you run the hose up and over top of this and in, you should be able to get the fluid in okay. Drain, fill. Rear diff, let's go. One of the easier spots to get to is actually the rear diff. Right here, this is the drain, and just up above right there, that is the fill bolt. Now, because I have this Hikis delete kit, this bracket is kind of in the way, and also the way that the exhaust came through, I wasn't able to get something up there to where that fill bolt is, so I actually took the exhaust off so I could have some access to it. If you're wondering what this is actually the loop line for my Hikis. Eventually, when I get a chance to, I'm going to pull out all of the Hikis stuff back here, but in the meantime, I need that. Alright, there you have it. Thanks for watching the video. Hopefully that was helpful for you. I didn't film all of me actually changing the fluids because it's pretty boring and you've probably seen a bunch of those already. You just take those drain bolts out, use the pump to pump that fluid back in, tighten everything back down, and away you go. Start the engine, look for leaks, make sure everything's good. Thanks for watching the video. See you next time.